All right. Hey, Stephanie Gass here, and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be going deep with you today on how the heck to actually grow your podcast. One of the number one questions that I get asked by my students and in my community is, how do I grow this show? What are the actual, tangible, tactical things I can do right now to make a difference in the growth trajectory of my podcast? Well, today, friend, I've got 5 things. We're going to be going deep, and I cannot wait. Before we get into the content, if you have not yet, be sure that you go ahead and subscribe, like this video, and click that notification bell so that you don't miss any of our YouTube trainings. I can't wait to help you every single week grow your show, use your podcast to get leads, and learn to glorify God in your business. Are you ready to grow your online business, make consistent income, start a successful podcast? Welcome to Online Business for Christian Women with Stephanie Gass. It's time to grow, girl. All right, let's get into it. So I have been a podcaster for 6 years, and I've done everything wrong and failed my way forward to ultimately becoming a top 20 podcast in the entrepreneurship category with almost 2 million downloads. And my podcast is the number one lead generator for our entire company, which is a 7-figure company. And so I now know what I know because I did what I shouldn't have done. And I want to save you all the stress of having a show that's not actually growing. And so I'm going to be going over 5 things you can tactically do right now to grow your show this year. Are you ready? Number 1, I want you to have professional and branded cover art for your podcast. So the art that you have on your show, I'll pop up an example of my art right here so you can see it. It should be crisp, clean, clear, professional. Ideally, it has a photo of you that is professionally done. And if you can't afford to have professional photos, is there something that you can trade? Like maybe you offer meal prep coaching and you can trade them for an hour-long photo shoot. Can you have a smaller shoot? Like, hey, can I just go get 5 headshots with you? How much will that cost? Where there is will, there is a way. So that professionally branded art, it immediately gets you more clicks. Immediately. If you are in a bookstore and you want to decide between 5 books that have the same content, are you going to pick the one that looks like they made it themselves with a cover of that book that doesn't resonate, that has no like viable information? There's nothing on there that resonates with you. It doesn't look clean, clear, and professional. No, you're going to pick the book that looks like it's legit. And your podcast is the exact same thing. So you've got to up-level your art, 100% non-negotiable in my opinion, if you want to grow. Now, granted, I get it, like finances and constraints might keep you where you are right now, but as soon as you possibly can, this is the next right investment in your podcast, okay? And if you guys need professional art and you don't know where to go for podcast art, you can always head to stephaniegass.com/graphic designer. And I have some templates there for you from my graphic designer. Be sure to use the code STEPH20. That's stephaniegass.com/graphic designer. Okay. Number 2, the second thing you can do to really grow your show is to have a clear title of your podcast. If your podcast title is Feel Great and Thrive, it's cute, it's catchy, it ain't getting the clicks. Okay, I'm just going to be brutally honest today. Versus Feel Great and Lose Weight, or Lose Your First 10 Pounds Postpartum, or something like Declutter Your Kitchen, the Declutter Your Kitchen podcast, or something like Start a Homeschooling Business. Like, how clear and specific can you get? That's where you need to grow. We've got to be clear because, again, if you're in the bookstore and there's 5 books and they're all elusive, but one of those books has the most specific title, for example, macro-friendly meals in 10 minutes or less, I am buying that cookbook, right? Like, I want you to solve my problem and I want you to solve it now. So your podcast title needs to be the same. Some core rules that I give my students is that your podcast title ideally is 4 words or less. If it has a small filler like an "and" or "the," grace on that, but really punchy and clear. And also if it can be really specific to the what that they want, that's going to be a really awesome bonus point for you. So clean up that title. Number 3, the third way you're really going to grow your show is to have high quality content, high quality episodes. More is not better. I recently met with the previous head of Apple Podcasts, and we were at a mastermind event, and he was telling all of us that less episodes are actually doing a little bit better right now. And the more quality your content can be, the more repetition you're going to have with your listener. So if you're doing 2 or 3 episodes a week right now, I mean, obviously we want to have 1 a week, and that's core and consistent. And that's a bonus tip for how you can grow your podcast, by the way. But going from 2, if that's feeling scattered or like you're just creating content to create content right now, stop and just do 1 and make sure it's really high quality. What do I mean by high quality? Well, I mean that you are giving them something they can actually do something with. Like, give them 1 core takeaway. Give them a little bit of homework in the episode, not a bunch of stuff. 1 core thing to implement. It's going to shift everything for you because they're going to get a result. And I think when someone gets a result from a free thing, they're over the moon about you, and they start questioning what other services and options and solutions that you have, and they may want to pay you to do that deeper dive with you. So quality content, along with quality content, really, I think comes seasonality. What are they struggling with right now? For example, if you have a podcast for teachers and it's right now like May, you're going to do a bunch of content around the end of the year, summer scheduling, summer prep. Versus if you have a podcast coming out and let's say that it is August and you're working on classroom routine and mindset of students, right? You're staying relevant with where your audience might be that particular month or in that season of their life or business or marriage. Stay seasonal. It's going to keep you relevant and really up-level that quality. Number 4, the 4th thing that's going to grow your podcast is to guest and have guests on your show as well in similar niches. I say both because I can't decide. So you might be in the niche of pregnancy, and let's say that you teach healthy eating during pregnancy and you have that podcast. You want to look for other pregnancy podcasts where you can come and add value. So go into Apple Podcasts and search for healthy pregnancy. All those podcasts will pop up, and you can start pitching those similar niche podcasts and saying, hey, I teach healthy eating. Can I come on your podcast? I would love to teach your woman how to blank, blank, blank. Let me know if this would be a good fit, a great collaboration. Now, if that podcast looks like they could also be a good fit for you and like they have a pretty solid review number that's similar to yours, you can also invite them on your show to teach something that they offer into the world and kind of have that beautiful collaboration where you can introduce each other's audiences. It's such a great way to grow. It's a quick way to grow because word of mouth is 1-to-1, but podcast to podcast is many to many. And because that podcaster is already edified with their listener, you're just going to get in their earbuds that much faster. And the 5th and final way to grow your podcast this year and beyond is to ask for shares and reviews. When was the last time you stopped and authentically asked your listeners to pause this episode and leave a review for the podcast? Take 30 seconds and tell me what you've loved about it, what questions you have for me, some encouragement. This is the only way that I know you're loving the show. That's literally what I say to people, and they do pause the episode and they do leave reviews. And when was the last time that you said, do you have a friend who is also pregnant and struggling with knowing what to eat? Or maybe you deal with car trips with kids. Do you know of another mama who likes to travel and take car trips with her kids? Please share this episode with her right now. This is the way that we grow. Ask your listener to do the thing that you want them to do, because that's another way that you can really grow and expand your show outside of just SEO and the online space, but person to person, heart to heart. And I really think we shouldn't discount that method of growth. So those are the main things I'm focusing on right now. And I hope that those bless you, encourage you, and stretch you to keep pushing in to growing your podcast. This is the thing that you have committed to. This is the thing that you believe is going to grow your leads and organically help you reach more people ultimately it's what you're called to do, is to sit behind that microphone and pour into other people. So let's also take the time to do it right, to do it well, and to plug those little strategic things in that can make all the difference in your growth strategy. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If so, there's a lot more where that came from. Go ahead and check out these other videos that are going to pop up on the screen, and subscribe, turn on that notification bell for the new ones that I put out every single week. And P.S., if you haven't, be sure to come and subscribe to my podcast, Online Business for Christian Women, because I have over 700 episodes just like this to help you grow and glorify God. Are you trying to grow your audience? Do you really, truly in your heart want a successful online business, but you're stuck? You are trying to grow on social media. You are trying to grow on all the other places. You're following everybody online, their advice, and it's just not working. I want to teach you how you can make consistent income from a podcast. I have a free class. It is 40 minutes of your time, and I promise it's going to shift your perspective completely on how you can grow a truly engaged, authentic audience from behind a microphone, ideally in less than 2 hours a week. Head to podcastforgrowth.com and let me walk you through the steps to how you can use a podcast to actually connect with more people. Again, that is podcastforgrowth.com. I can't wait to meet you in this free training. I'll see you there.